And welcome once again to Let's Talk Tresco. It's been a little bit of time since we've been here, and of course, Tresco is still celebrating 55 years. But if you don't know what Tresco is, well, they have been providing professional and individualized services, supports, and opportunities to people of any age with differing abilities, their families, and communities that they serve. Tresco currently provides services in 11 countries throughout New Mexico in their three main divisions: the TOTS Early Intervention, Day One Home Visiting, and Tresco Works. And of course, if you need any more information about Tresco for all of their services and to learn more, just go ahead and go online to trescoinc.org or give them a call at 575-528-2200. That is their main number there. And today we are going to be talking to the Facilities Maintenance Fleet Manager, Ernesto Salinas. Do you mind if I call you Ernie?
Go ahead.
Okay, Ernie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing really good. I think I'm slightly over caffeinated today, but I'm going to go ahead and work my way through that.
All
But
right.
Ernie, I heard that you have a very interesting journey because it's you've been with Tresco for 29 years.
Yes, sir. It'll be 30 here in just a few months.
Oh wow, so nearly 30 years.
Nearly 30 years. Yes.
So I'm sure that's quite a journey right there. What was it that you started off with doing with Tresco?
When back in February of 1994, 93, I was actually laid off from White Sands Missile Range. I'd
Hmm.
been working out there with physical science laboratories for about 13 years, and all of a sudden, I just got laid off. I just happened to know one of the managers because part of my job out at White Sands was to order all the forms for the company. And Tresco back then used to have a print shop.
Mm.
So I would order all the forms from Tresco and we would use them for various reasons out there in the data processing contract that I used to work for. When I got laid off, I was unemployed for a whole year. And in February of 94, I just happened to read the paper, and there was an opening there that says Tresco Incorporated facilities maintenance worker was needed. And with my background, having 20 plus years in the construction trade, I said, you know what, I'm going to try it.
Oh,
So I did. Came and talked to Paul at the time, and I was actually they gave me an application. I was interviewed and hired all within a couple of days. And so I started working with Tresco out at the rest areas, and I was in as a part-time worker, 20 hours a week.
hmm.
Within a month, I was doing full-time work and had been offered a job as a supervisor out at the rest areas.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
so that went pretty quick from when you were hired to go ahead and get
Yes,
into the
sir.
supervisor position.
I guess I
So, what
must have
was
been
your
here at the right
what?
time because when I started, I was told that 20 hours. And then within a month, I was already a full time worker and a supervisor. So I guess they needed people.
Well, maybe they saw something in you and your experience that could really help them out. And obviously, it seems to have worked out well. So, nearly 30 years. So that was pretty good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And even when I was out at the rest area,
Hmm.
they were still called because I worked at the rest area for 6 months. And one of the supervisors in facilities, I knew him for years and he knew what I could do. And so, when anytime they had a project of remodeling or doing anything at any Tresco facility, they would call me to help. Once they realized what I knew and what I could do, then they actually offered me a job uh, in town as a facility maintenance worker, which I did for numerous years. And luckily, I had a boss that believed in education.
Hmm.
They sent me to the Doñana branch at the university, which I finally ended up getting a degree in facilities maintenance technology after a few years.
Wow.
And so, I mean, I've been doing everything from custodial facility maintenance to remodel to new construction. We do it all around here.
Well, that is definitely somebody taking advantage of the skills that you had to offer in your experience. So that's pretty good.
And
So,
thinking that when I first started here, I was going to be here for till I found something different. But then I realized, all the special benefits, and being that I have a disability myself, I knew that Tresco would understand my disability, and I can't say that that was probably the reason I got laid off at White Sands, but if anybody would understand my disability, it would be Tresco, and that's why I'm still here.
okay, yeah. Well, of course, that is part of the mission with Tresco is to help out a lot of people with different abilities.
Mhm.
You know, and I've had conversations with a lot of different people with a lot of different things on there, and I myself have a bit of a hearing issue as well. So that is something that I think that I really like about Tresco and the work that they do,
Yes, sir. Most
because
definite.
those opportunities might not otherwise be there, but definitely taking advantage of an opportunity. And you've held several positions throughout the years, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What was that like the journey now that you got that supervisor they're asking you and you got the facilities maintenance thing? Where did you go from there?
Well, that opened a lot of doors for me because once I got my degree, they knew what I could do. I went into a managerial position where I actually ended up preparing and bidding for the federal courthouse here in Las Cruces. The
Wow.
federal, I went ahead and managed that for a while, and then Tresco was interested in a grounds and custodial contract out of White Sands Missile Range,
Mm.
which I was very involved in. Also, working on the estimates and figuring out the staff that were going to need it. I mean, just from one end to the other, I was involved in that one. And finally, it took us probably several. I'm going to say about 3 months to really understand the contract at White Sands.
Hmm.
I managed 110 people out there. We
Wow.
had over 250 buildings that we were providing services for, and then
Hmm.
we had over 600 acres of grounds that was in that contract, and that's something that has grown to this day. But I was only out there for about 4.5 years. Came back
I
came back into cruises here, and now I'm running the facilities department here.
I like how you said you were only out there for 4.5 years. For some people, that's a long time. But in your case, that was just a portion of what you've been able to do over the years. And speaking of that growth that you mentioned and how much they've grown, at with nearly 30 years at Tresco, how much has it impressed you that they've grown in those 30 years?
Well, I mean, from day one to now, I mean, there's so much that Tresco has grown. At first, there was only one building, a couple of TOTS programs, one in Anthony and one here in Cruces. And now, I mean, there's just I think we have 7 facilities. We used to have at the time, we used to have about 30 homes that I also used to maintenance for Tresco. This were rentals,
Oh, mhm.
and I was also involved in repairs and whatever was broken in the house because of an individual breaking something, then it was my responsibility to fix it for them.
Wow. So,
But
man, you do just about everything. So, as soon as something breaks, they just go ahead and call Ernie, huh?
they would submit a work order, and I would go take care of it. I was doing this by myself probably maybe 12 years, and then eventually we grew, and we started our department started growing. Right now there's 6 of us that work here.
Hmm.
30 years ago it was just be by myself.
Okay. And right now, you are the facilities maintenance fleet manager. So, what
I'm actually
duties does
just
that
the
involve for you
facilities
these days?
manager. The fleet portion of it got transferred to another department.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, what is it that you're working on these days? Just sitting in the office? making everybody else
Sitting
do the
in the
work.
office drinking coffee all day. How's that?
But
No,
that's a well-deserved coffee break, I
we
think, for
we
30
spent a
years.
lot of time here within the last couple of years remodeling one of our facilities that had been vacant for about a year.
Hmm.
We started working on that, and then we had two homes that Tresco wanted to sell. So we remodeled those two homes. I mean, just literally from top to bottom, and ended up selling those two homes. We'll actually do also a lot of landscaping around here. Right now, we've got a big project where we're actually not ourselves, but we're coordinating with a contractor where we're putting fencing completely around our whole campus.
Oh, you're going to put a fence around? That's a big
Yes.
campus.
Yes. It's 5 acres and it's all being fenced in.
Okay. And yeah, recently you've had a few of the other departments move back in on campus that were off campus. So I guess you're involved in getting all of that stuff ready for them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We've been involved in all the facilities here in this campus. We had to remodel all of them just to uh, confine the space to the people that were going to occupy it, to serve them. We even built a big warehouse in one of the
Hmm.
facilities, and now that's our supply warehouse, and we spend quite a bit of time doing that too.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's a lot of work, and I'm
It
glad
is a
you
lot.
have some
It
helpers
is a
now.
lot of work. Luckily, I have good people that work for me.
Awesome. And when you think back over your years with Tresco, are there any pretty amazing memories that stand out for you as far as something that you've accomplished or maybe that the Tresco has gone through that you look back on?
Well, I mean, the one thing I do miss right now
Hmm.
is the individuals that used to work here. We had CSS, was involved in helping these folks with community services,
Hmm.
and so we'd always be around folks that had special needs, and we used to work alongside of them, and that's something that I really miss.
So you miss being out there more,
Yes, sir.
getting out of the office maybe a little bit more.
Integrating with some of these folks, because a lot of times, they come up with some wild ones, make you laugh.
Well, I'm sure, yeah. Like I'm sure you've got some interesting stories about all those years and some experiences that between all of those different departments that have coming in here. So that is a lot of time that is spent with there. But I mean, right away, what does when you think about Tresco and the work that they do in all of their divisions right there, um, what does the Tresco mission mean to you? I mean, when you tell people about it.
What does the maintenance? I say again.
Oh, what does the Tresco mission mean for you? Like when you're telling people about Tresco, just as a company in general, what do you like to tell them? What does it mean for you?
Well, the Tresco mission to me, I mean, even I think I benefited from it. Being that I have a disability and they understand exactly, my disability, and I'm not gonna, they're not gonna hold that against me. And so, being that you work with folks with disabilities, uh, I mean, they work wonders with some of these folks, making sure that yeah, they have a job, they have a place to live. I mean, they have staff that help them out day to day with their lives, and I mean, it's just something that we're lucky to have in this town.
No, absolutely. And for as long as they have, like I said, they are, or you guys, I say they are, but you guys are celebrating 55 years
55
already,
years.
and you've grown so much. It actually surprised me. I learned something when talking, I think, to one of the other board members or founders right there that it never even occurred to me that Tresco actually it stands for Tres Counties, for the three
Tres
counties that originally
condados.
started it. And I did not even realize that, but suddenly it made sense. But the amount of growth and the amount of opportunities that have been granted to a lot of people with differing abilities right there over the years, I mean, that's got to give a sense of pride just being a part of that.
Yes, of course. And also, it used to be Tres condados. Uh, then it was 5, and now I don't know how many condados they're working on. But I mean, with the small contracts that
Mhm.
are out there, I'm sure it's well over 15, 20 counties already.
Actually, I believe because I had it right here. Right now, 11 counties throughout New Mexico, but that is growing
Yes,
because, I'll put it this way. Southern New Mexico is probably covered by Tresco in some way or form or another, but the idea of heading more north or maybe even expanding out of state or something like that. I mean, when you think about what Tresco can do in the future, what do you see for them?
well, I mean, at the rate they're growing, I mean, I'm sure give it a few more years, and they're going to be serving the counties way north of Albuquerque. Because right now, I think we're already in Albuquerque with a few contracts out there. So I
Hmm.
can just imagine give them a few more years, and we'll probably be out there doing most of the state.
And that'll be helping out once again everybody statewide
Yes,
with differing abilities and what they can do for the state.
yes, sir. That's correct.
Okay. All right. Well, one more thing.
Uh-huh.
When you think about everything that's gone on and all of your experiences with Tresco, if there was one thing that you had to tell somebody about Tresco or something that you felt that they needed to know, what would you tell them?
Well, I mean, Tresco is a company that I highly recommend for employment. I
Hmm.
mean, Tresco. I mean, any benefit that anybody would need, especially retirement, medical insurance. I mean, they have a very good benefit package, and myself, I have benefited from all that.
That is awesome. So basically, come here and work for Tresco and help us out in their mission,
Most
right?
definitely, most definitely. I
Absolutely.
mean, I thought I was only going to be here till I found something else. 30 years later, I'm still here.
Any plans on retiring anytime soon?
Uh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm still healthy. I can still get around, and as long as I'm needed here, I'll probably hang around for a few more years.
Okay. They're not going to, you're going to stick around until they have to wheel you out there.
Not to that point. Not to that point. I'm already, I'm one of the lucky ones. I'm already getting Social Security benefits. I'm already getting Tresco retirement and my wages. So, I mean, I've never been better. So I'm going to take advantage of that for a few more years.
No, well, absolutely, while you can.
Hmm.
Well, Ernesto, thanks a lot for taking a little bit of time to talk about us and talk about your experiences with Tresco. And I'd like to say, is there any one last thing that you'd like to let everybody know?
Well, just thanks a lot for keeping me here for all these years, and hopefully they'll continue to keep me here for another few more years.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Ernesto. And once again, we will be back in hopefully in a couple of weeks to go ahead and talk a little bit more Tresco with everyone. Thanks a lot, Ernie, for allowing me
Thank
to
you.